Yo, what's going on, people? Welcome back to the channel Football Therapy with me, your host, Jan. I hope you're doing well, mate. I really do hope that stuff's moving fast for Chelsea. A crazy club. Chelsea do have a manager. Sort of. Enter Bruno Saltor. Yes, that's right, ladies and gentlemen. The interim coach is Chelsea's head coach at the moment. He will be taking training and he will be setting us up for the upcoming matches. Now, Chelsea are reportedly going to make their manager search exhaustive, and potential candidates like Julian Nagelsmann might not actually be available until the summer because he himself doesn't want to jump into a job straight away, and Chelsea want to take time to analyse different candidates and really take a moment here. They don't want to throw someone straight in, so we will of course all react to all the news regarding a new permanent manager. So make sure you do hit the bell when you subscribe to this channel, and thank you for liking this video. It does mean a lot to me in terms of supporting the content. We've got lots to talk about today. Bruno Saltor had his pre-match press conference. Of course, he's going to meet Jurgen Klopp in the Champions League, in the Premier League, excuse me. He might be playing in the Champions League. Imagine there's a good chance he'll be managing when we play Real Madrid, him in the current team. There is every chance of that as well, because Chelsea do not want to rush the process to get the new gaffer in. They, if we beat Jurgen Klopp's Liverpool under Bruno Saltor, he might just knock about for a little bit. I want to reference a few things he said in the press conference because a good few questions were asked of him. First of all, he was very respectful in talking about Graham Potter, saying that this is a sad day. Of course, Graham Potter brought him over from Brighton. It was only Graham and Billy that left, but Macaulay, stayed on with the rest of the staff. And of course, it was suggested by Potter and agreed by the ownership that Bruno should become interim head coach, which means they see something good. And he spoke very well, I think, considering, and there's a few really positive and notable things I want to reference in this video today. Like I said, first of all, very respectful with Graham's dismissal, acknowledged the fact, how it's rough, essentially, and says, I spoke to him 5 minutes prior to the press conference. He extends his best wishes to the people in the press room, which is nice. A gentleman to the end, Graham Potter. But he showed a bit of grit as well. Obviously, he speaks English fluently very well, and he was asked the question about, is this like an audition for you? I know this is a bit tongue-in-cheek, I can't remember which journalist said it, but is this an opportunity to say to the owners, I think it was Moose from TalkSport actually, said, look, win a few games, consider me, which I think is a bit fanciful. They will go for it unless we go and win the Champions League with Bruno, which who knows? It's Chelsea. We could do. Chelsea will almost certainly be looking to try and bring in perhaps one of these bigger names. But I was just listening to the Athletic podcast, waxing lyrical about Potter in some ways, but also criticising perhaps his lack of almost aura, his commanding nature. And it did seem like Bruno has got a little bit of that. Now, it's just an interim coach. We might get slapped up by Liverpool and, it doesn't really matter anyway, and then we move on. But there's a few things. So first, in terms of, I want to talk about a few things like what formation he's likely to play, how he's likely to approach things, which he gave a little bit away in this press conference, but also philosophy and stuff, and an ethos, because this guy comes from Brighton, a long career there. He's not like a Galactico trophy winner. But he said a couple of things. He said Chelsea is about winning. Chelsea is about dominating. That's a big plus early doors in your first presser. I know maybe it's relatively risk-free. I'm just the interim, I'm just being professional. He kept saying, I just want to be professional. Whatever, I'm here to do my best. But yeah, that's some, of the theatre that perhaps Chelsea fans have been craving, that we've referenced here on the channel before. Something that Thomas Tuchel said in his first press conference. This is Chelsea. Chelsea, you've got to win. It's about trophies. He said, but the fact he's winning and dominating, it's not we got to win the odd game. And no, Chelsea is about dominating. Really intriguing choice of words from Bruno there that I actually think is really important, and probably would do him a lot of good just to get a few endorphins bubbling in the Chelsea fans. And, some people just remembering, actually, you know what? We are ruddy Chelsea, mate, and we will win the football games. It can happen. So, how's he going to play football? He was obviously asked about Jurgen Klopp, and spoke about his respect for him. To be honest, considering this dude has only recently gone to coaching 4 years ago, but he did speak about actually look, I've been recently a player. I know how to deal with dressing rooms. I think that's a massive reason why we've appointed him as interim head coach, because he's going to get in the players' ears and be like, guys, I know the score. Graham's a nice guy. I was in the dressing room as a player only but recently. I know what, how to deal with you guys, essentially. So I feel like, because there's a lot of, maybe Bruno Saltor, we'll talk about formations and stuff in a minute, which he spoke about, but maybe there's an element of Bruno coming in to just be a bit of a Galactico whisperer, go to Enzo Fernandez, Joao Felix, Misha Mudryk. You're all really good, and maybe, less soft, emotional empathy, Graham Potter, but more like, go on, son, you're ruddy wicked. Look, we're 11th now. It doesn't matter. Just go and do it. Go and do it. Just freaking go and do it. So maybe there's a little bit of Galactico whispering there, knowing how to deal with a dressing room. But he was asked, so like I said, it's pleasantries about Jurgen Klopp, this, that, and the other, and they asked him about formations. Now this is interesting because everyone's going to think, oh, how is Bruno going to play? What formation is he going to go with? And I think almost certainly, and kind of what he inferred here is, we will stick with a back three. He says, look, I don't want to give any clues out to Liverpool, but the fact how he referenced the domination in the Aston Villa game, again, we dominated that. I know we should have won that game, and that, sympathies for Potter still seems like the right thing that he had to go, but we did dominate that game. 27 shots on goal. It's just incredible. So he was clearly happy with that. So in terms of tactical approach and formation, I think Bruno will stay with a back three, but I think the most salient point here is who he chooses. Because just like saying Chelsea is about winning, Chelsea is about dominating, which is a great early win. And I'm not saying to try and get the Chelsea job, just to try and get a good positive feeling back. Another good early win is playing certain players. Now, how can Chelsea manager Saltor, it sounds like an evil genius, like Dr. Saltor, no! How can he get this good win in terms of an emotional, easy win in terms of the Chelsea fans? Well, obviously Kepa in goal, but if you are indeed to continue with this back three formation, play centre backs. If we see a back three of, for example, against Liverpool, again, this is all theory, left centre back Benoit Badiashile, middle Thiago Silva, and on the right Wesley Fofana. Bang, bang, bang. Not that Koulibaly was particularly bad at all recently. In fact, it was Cucurella's fault, took it off his head for that goal in the last game. But I just think that back three, ooh, you put Reece James back at right wing back, and Ben Chilwell played really well, was probably our man of the match last time out. But there's your back five. Thiago Silva's back, Benoit Badiashile, Fofana, wicked young players flanking, young French lads flanking the Thiago Silva, all French speakers, of course. First choice wing backs, Reece James influencing the flank again from right wing back. And you know what? If he is truly fit to go again, start for the first time this season the double pivot of Enzo Fernandez and N'Golo Kante. Like we've said recently, a World Cup winning duo, respectively. A decade between them. But, if Kante's fit and good to go, then suddenly that back seven, as in those seven players on the pitch, it's eye-wateringly good. And they'll play, we'll try and dominate the ball, we'll try and play well, but we'll have actually, because that's kind of what he inferred, because he's like, we played well against Aston Villa, we don't want to change too much or whatever. So you continue with the back three, you try and dominate and play against Liverpool, but you've got that foundation at the back, you've got the proper wing backs, Ben Chilwell can absolutely eat Trent Alexander-Arnold alive. Do you know what I mean? That kind of thing. And then the front three, you have to keep playing Joao, I think. You probably have to keep playing Kai Havertz, because he had been playing better. You know, so you let them continue that relationship, continue developing that chemistry, and then, you know, do you play Mudryk? Do you play Pulisic? Does he throw like a wild card in and bring Ziyech back in from the cold? Probably not, I don't think. But yeah, maybe like I said, he gets in the ear, in the dressing room, he gets in the ear of Joao Felix, in the ear of Enzo Fernandez, in the ear of Misha Mudryk, and says, look, you're all new lads, but you're really good. I believe you could absolutely smash this. Look, we're going to put these defenders behind you. Look, you know, don't worry, Felix, you're going to have Kante, Enzo behind you. Thiago Silva sitting behind them. You know, he can speak to Kepa, build him up again, and we can, you know, just fucking go. And then you keep that 11, granted in the Champions League, Badiashile isn't registered, which is very frustrating. But, you know, you keep this core, and you're like, this is us for the end of the season. 10 Premier League games left, and at least 2 Champions League games. You're my guys. You are my guys. And this is the Chelsea, like he said, is about winning. Chelsea, like he said, is about dominating. And the fact how he isn't on a 5-year deal, this guy's just come in, he can just stick with the players. I feel like when you're in a long-term project with a 5-year deal, you feel like, oh, I've got to keep everyone happy, I've got to play the game, the politics. Here you can just go, nah, bun that. Let's just win some games and let's make the fans happy. Let's just keep with a solid 11. We'll keep with this formation. We'll try and play with the ball. And let's score some friggin' goals. Go! Anyway, look, man, I feel pretty good after watching his press conference. I recommend you go and watch it. Let me know what you think. Do you like the cut of his jib? Do you think there's a chance we'll keep him to the end of the season? If we can't get a Nagelsmann now, we're going to wait it out? Or is he going to be here for just tomorrow? I'd be very interested in learning your thoughts, feelings, and opinions in the comment section below. So thank you for joining me. Remember to subscribe and click the sweet, sweet bell. Yeah, man. See you very soon. Peace.